everybody, welcome back to my channel. I had planned on doing this video directly after Vlogmas, so like on January 1st. I was gonna do my big announcement, I was gonna talk about sort of the future of the channel, but I gotta be honest, by the time the Vlogmas rolled around and I was done with Vlogmas, I didn't feel much like filming. I think that's sort of an understandable stance because I was just, you know, I was really impressed with myself. I put out content every single day. I think I was only late one day, and that was on my video on my birthday because I didn't get home until like 11 o'clock, and that was the worst day of my bronchitis. So I think it's a little understandable that I didn't post specifically on that day. So here we are, kind of addressing the future of my channel, and yes, I'm going to have a channel. I really enjoyed doing the YouTube videos, even more than I thought I would. I'm really excited about the future, and I'm excited about what other content I could bring you guys. We are going to be doing a different schedule now, though. We're not going to be uploading every day because that's crazy. My goal right now, for the month of January at least, is to upload on Mondays. And I'm going to see how that goes and then sort of adjust my schedules and stuff from there. So that's the idea. In addition to continuing my channel, I also have a new channel name, and that name is Born in a Ball Jar. Born in a Ball Jar is actually the name of the column that I had in college. I wrote for the school newspaper, which was at the time the Daily News. And I had an award-winning column called Born in a Ball Jar. And I thought it was a very clever name, and I really liked doing the column, and I'd always been looking for a way to sort of revitalize it. So I thought that using that title and using that concept for this would be a good idea. For Born in the Ball Jar, I usually did DIYs, so different crafting things, but there was also things about, you know, grief and loss and being a non-traditional student and like all kinds of like life advice. So that's what I'm trying to emulate here. It's called Born in a Ball Jar because I attend Ball State University. I attended Ball State University, which is named after ball mason jars. That's why I always have one of these handy, because ball is, it's integral not only because that's where my education comes from, but because, you know, my father worked for this university for 30 years. There's photographs of me, I'll put it in right here or right there, of me as an infant with a Ball State thing on. So a Ball State like onesie on. So Ball State has been an integral part of my life for my entire life. And so Born in a Ball Jar just seemed like a natural column name for me. I love it. I think it's very cute. Does it violate copyright laws? It's a yes, probably. But you know what? We're a real small channel now. We'll deal with that when the time comes. But for right now, we are Born in a Ball Jar. So check out my new intro, which was at the beginning, and that should kind of give you an idea. And then I have another one. My channel art's different, so just check all that out. So for today, for our first video of 2020, we are going to be looking at my 2020 bullet journal. I've always been a really organized person, and it sort of kicked into high gear when I went to college. So since then, I've been borderline anal retentive about it. It's just sort of the way things are. I like it that way. This is the fourth bullet journal I've had. The thing I love about bullet journals is how customizable they are, how you can make them your own. So I'm going to show you guys my bullet journal for 2020. Hopefully it can show you guys just sort of some organizational ideas, or it can even just give you an idea of sort of the way my mind works and maybe even influence your own bullet journal. So let's take a look. So this is the journal. I've sort of been using the same style of journal every year until this year. They'll kind of have like a soft cover, something that is a bit more flexible. This one is definitely a hardcover, as you can hear. And it's got a beautiful marble design on it with a streak of gold through it. This is different than what I usually get, but I wanted something different. I wanted something that would work better for me, and as much as I like the old style that I used, they were always lacking something, and I think this one's gonna make up for it. So let's go and open it up. So first off, we have our 2020. This is crooked, I know it, but I stuck it on there and I tried to reposition it, and the double-sided tape was like, nope, we live here now. Okay, so we move in here, and first off, we have the index, which this was a kind of a helpful thing that this particular model of journal came with. I don't use my index a lot though. It's something that the past 3 journals I had, and I decided this year just to not even bother with it. So you have a key, which I also don't use. Index, don't use, so we're gonna skip those. Something that was really, really great about this journal was that it came with pages pre-numbered, which was great, because I always managed to mess up on the numbering. The numbering is something, I guess you don't really need it now that you aren't using the index, but it's still sort of nice to have. It makes it feel a bit more professional. But again, I would always mess up on it, so I hated it. This is something, this eventually on this page is gonna go, oh, there's a couple pages I need to fill out. I need to put like basic information, what to do with this if lost and found, who to contact, sort of thing. And then down here, I also want to include location of my will, advance directive, death plan, and basically permission for my images after I die. The will, advance directive, and death plan are things that you need for after end of life care, that I need to sit down and I need to create those and talk them over with my sister, who is my next of kin. The images is something else that I have, just because with all of the mass shootings and unexpected deaths, that's something that's been coming up a lot, is people outwardly giving permission for their photographs to be used to speak about their life and who they were in wake of that. So not only my personal photos like my selfies, but just the pictures that I take, and now the YouTube videos that I have, because I want, in case of my death, I want my legacy to be in part those images, and I want my story told that way. So I'm still working on this. We'll get there, because these 3 are things that I need to sit down and like actually work on. So here we have my future logs. I have 2 future logs, both in the same style. This is a style that I picked up last year, and oh god, it looks beautiful. It looks so cool, so professional. I will go in and like say that I have an appointment I book for March. I'll put that in the March thing, and then when I go to make the March monthly, I'll do that, as I did here with December or January. I will also go in and put holidays, Memorial Day, Easter Sunday, and then if you look over here, Election Day, Thanksgiving, Labor Day, especially with events, holidays that aren't so clean cut, like Thanksgiving, which is always a moving target. So those are those. On my next sheet, I have some Post-it notes, and Katara here, I got this for one of these for Christmas. We have Post-it notes covering important information. This is my medical information, the medicines that I take, the medicines I take, the vitamins I take, and then a brief rundown of my medical history. I keep thinking that I'm going to be in an accident or something, and maybe somebody doesn't have access to my medical records, but they can come in here and know exactly what I'm taking, and then exactly what my history is. And if you notice here, there's a lot of ear stuff. Again, I'm going to make a video about my ear stuff eventually, because it's a whole deal and I think it could help people. This is contact info. This is family. That's my sister, my great aunt. This is friends. I have a couple contact informations here. Then this is miscellaneous, which includes my place of work, my landlord, my doctor's office, my ear, nose, and throat doctor, and I think one other. So that's that. These, I was so happy with the way this turned out. This is my books to read spread, and as you can see, I've already knocked a couple out. So basically, this is something I always spend a lot of time on every year. I read a lot, so it's sort of important for me to have these. I love the idea and the design of a bookshelf. That way I can write it in and I can color them in, and then I can add a little accent. So here's a little Buddha. Here is an Instax camera. I actually have that camera. Here's a fan, a red and gold fan as per normal, a succulent, and then this beautiful hanging plant was actually done by Teddy at work, who he sketched it out, and then I lined it and colored it in. This is probably my favorite spread of the book. It's always my favorite spread of the book though, just because the way that it looks, it's just so satisfying and so beautiful. And if any of the spreads in my journal are Pinterest perfect, it's this one. So beautiful. Oh, and the way that it works is that each book is like empty. Like we'll use this one for example. It's an empty book, but then each book will have like a little accent to it. So it could be something like a diamond on the spine. Over here it's like a little circle. It's a triangle. It's another circle. If the book is empty, so like look at this. So what's a good example? So An Education of an Idealist is right here. the book is not filled in and the accent is empty. That means I have not read it and I do not readily have access to it. Versus this one up here, which says Dreamland, which is a book about opioid use in America. That accent is colored in, which means that I do have ready access to it. So it's either at the library, I've either downloaded it like an ebook, or I have a physical copy, or it's on the library digital service. So it's one of those things. This just sort of helps me realize, like, okay, I want to start a new book. What is a good place to start? What's something that I can readily access? So that's all that. And this is the movie spread. I really love, this is about the third year I've done this spread sort of like this. This is all washi tape. I had to special order this washi tape from China because nobody else had exactly what I was looking for. They would have these film strips, but never big enough that I could write in them. So basically the way that this works is kind of self-explanatory, is that I will write in the movies I want to see. So we got Harriet, The Gentleman, Mulan, Conjuring 3, Godzilla vs. Kong, The Eternals, Under the Skin, Tenet, Wonder Woman 84. So I will basically write the movie in that I want to see, and then when I see it, I will just take a Sharpie and just mark right through it, so that I can kind of see, all right, what have I not seen and what have I seen. So this is just a really easy way to kind of keep track of that. Here we have birthdays. These are birthdays with fun little cupcakes all over them, depending on what month you have. And then we have our day-to-day mood tracker. I have finished these. I didn't have one for 2017, but 2018 and 2019 I finished one of these, and God, it's so satisfying. So I have a set of markers, and these are markers that I specifically bought for this purpose. I have a set of these at home and a set at work, because I do work on my bullet journal sometimes at work. So I have a set of these at home and a set at work so that I can fill in my moods no matter where I am, so that I'm always kind of staying up to date on it. Because one of the struggles that I have with this is that I'll get behind and I'll need to fill in like 6 or 7 days at a time, and then they're not always accurate. So that's why I do that. So here we have more stuff covered up. We have Toph here making an appearance. This is the thing I got for Christmas, is that it's got all the Avatar characters, which I absolutely love. Except Suki, because Suki's always forgotten. But I'm going to try to use these as much as possible, because they're so cute, little chibis. So we have rent records here. I have to pay my rent. I get paid every 2 weeks. So instead of paying my rent like at the end of the month, I divide it into 2. So I'll send my landlord 2 rent checks a month for half my rent each time. And to keep track of where I am, I will note on here. So like the recent paycheck, I paid February part 1. The next paycheck, I will pay February part 2. And then so on and so forth. And I also notate when I send that to him, what exactly, you know, whether this is August part 2 or maybe March part 1. I will always send him that so he knows what's what. This is a bill breakdown. The way that I do my billing, I may talk about it someday, is that here behind these post-it notes are the bills that are on automatic withdrawal, that I need to know how to budget my money based on what day those are coming out. So that's something else that I have going on. Here we have, this spread's no longer valid because I've charged up my credit card more than I wanted to. But basically this is me trying to pay down my credit card. So it's start up here, and it's like up here somewhere. But it's basically like, all right, how much do I owe in March? Then we're gonna try and track it like that. That's the goal anyways. The other major debt that I have is a Prosper loan, which was a credit card consolidation loan. I like to spend money and I get myself in trouble. So I have 27 payments left on that. So the goal is each time a payment is made in 2020 to fill in one of these things so I can see a visual progress of how I'm doing. Here's some more stuff. So I have a goal to save $2,400 in 2020. And so each one of these lines in our like savings jar is going to be $100. So I would fill in like half of it if I save 50. And then if we do all the way up, it'll be $2,400. This is also, I have friends that are getting married in Portland. I don't know when they're getting married, but I think it's in October. I hope it's not in October because I don't think I'm going to be able to flip that. But basically, this is the goal that I have for myself. So I'm keeping track of it in $30 increments so that every time I save $30, say that I save $90, I'll go in and like fill in 3 of these boxes. It's a way to keep track of that. Again, it's just a way to visualize it. So this spread is not done. I'll talk about it here in a second. This spread it was a book that I had read, and it said that you have to set food goals for yourself. I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. I'm actively trying to do better and to get better. So these are just some basic rules that I had given myself that I always have to follow. And I've actually done a pretty good job at this. Not perfect, but a pretty good job. This is going to be my soap spread. So as you guys know from one of my earlier videos, I absolutely love handmade soap and I collect them. And one of the things about collecting is that I like to know what I have so I can like keep track of it. So what I need to do is I need to get some like iridescent paper that's like pretty, that looks like bubbles. And then I need to get a circular hole punch to make what looks like bubbles, which each of the names of the soap that I have. That's the goal. That's where we'll get. So now we start moving into sort of, this is basically everything up until this point. We're on page 22 right now. Everything up until this point has been basically stuff that I need to access year round for one reason or another. Now we get into monthly things. So this is my January spread. I showed this on another video. These are some of the stickers or some of the tape that I had gotten in my advent calendar, which I love. I got some over here. So whenever I make I'll probably do like a little tutorial of how I do my monthly spreads. That basically I map out, I map everything out. I figure out how many weeks I need, and then I will go in and measure or count and basically do some sketches, and then I will make a point to only use the ones that I need. So for example, there are 3 days here that should be here, but I leave those out because I don't need them. I also don't do days of the weeks because I just remember what those are. And I think it looks nice and clean. So there's also a code for like different things. So if you look the 3rd, the 17th, and the 31st this month, there's a little green dot there in the corner. That indicates that's a payday. If you look on the 11th and the 25th, you see that there's a little green corner right there. That indicates that it's a Saturday where the recycling center is open. So this is just sort of how I do month at a glance and figure that out. This is, now we're going to skip ahead real quick. So usually right after the monthly, I will have my shopping list and meal plan. So the shopping list is pretty self-explanatory. It's just a shopping list. These are some adorable toast and bread stickers my sister got me in my advent calendar, and I absolutely love them. So this is just sort of me planning meals. I'm going to be doing a bigger version of this because before, like, I wouldn't eat breakfast and then I'd have basic stuff for lunch and then this would be for dinner. But I'm starting to do more meal prep and meal planning, so it would be helpful to have all 3 meals for every day blocked out. So I think we're going to start doing that starting in February. But this is just, like I said, shopping list and then food plan. I have a stack of food stickers that I usually use, but again, I got these for Christmas and I loved them. That usually goes directly after the monthly, so it would be January, turn the page, then January food list and shopping list. However, I messed up and I didn't do it right, so it just goes from January right into my daily to-do lists. I don't do a normal like weekly spread because I just think they're more trouble than they're worth. Instead, what I do is these very cute, very individualized and neat daily ones that are just to-do lists. We're going to use today as an example. Today is the 4th, so I'll do some kind of accent, like these are the little hamster stickers that my sister had got me. There's going to be a lot of that stuff in here that I will go in and I will basically, the first thing I do is figure out what the accent is going to look like, and then I make these little stacks and then fill out the numbers and then fill in my to-do list. So if we look at today, the 4th, we see that, I needed to work out, I needed to do this video, I need to go to Goodwill, figure out my mattress, prep some potato soup, and prep some pasta salad. I'm probably not going to do the potato soup, but I got everything else except for this video and the pasta salad done. or I did the pasta salad rather. So then I'll just fill in what, like, it's like checking off a to-do list. So then that way I can sort of, you know, move ahead and go from there. Like Wednesday I have doctor's appointments. Tuesday I have a team meeting. I put my work in there. Monday when I go back to work I have quite a few things I have to do. So that's why it says catch up. You know, tomorrow there are two things. It was the breakfast sausage, which was a prep thing, and then Dee's cage, which I already finished. So I crossed those off even though I'm not there. And then, yeah, so I'll just move on and do next week's, and I think that might be the end of this video, is me doing next week's vlog. So that's that, and then, of course, this is out of order. So the good thing about doing this new journal spread is that, or this new type of journal, is that there are more pages. Before, in my old journals, I think I would get 120. The one style had 120 pages. And then the other style I had, I think, 180. So I couldn't do a lot of like extra spreads. I had to be very concise about what I was using. But this one, this is what I test it says pen test right here, but I wanted a normal paper. So that's how this is how I'm testing my pens. I thought that was kind of cool. This one goes to 252. So I have much more room in this journal and I have much more room to do cool stuff. So this was Sweet Dee, a new home for Sweet Dee. This was me making plans. Here she is. That's the extent of my drawing abilities. So here she is, and here's a little wheel and all that good stuff. So this was like plans and like a diagram and then a to-do list of things to get. This is my January YouTube schedule, so I have the first 3 weeks planned. I am filming this one right now, and this just allows me to kind of, you know, look forward and, you know, see what things I have going on in the future. So that's that, and we don't have anything right now. So that's what we're going to do next, is we're going to go ahead and plan our next week. So I'll show you guys that when it's done. Okay, got it done. We just did a simple one today with, you know, 6 days, and then we put washi tape, 2 different types of washi tape down here, and then a repeat up here. It's kind of subtle, kind of subdued, but it's January, so I'm not feeling real bright and colorful right now. I like the way that it looks, though. I think it's pretty, and it'll get the job done. So I will show you guys more spreads, and I will eventually probably do a actual walkthrough of how I do a spread. Actually, we'll set that for February. That'll be our first video for February, is how I do my monthly. So that sounds like a plan. So thanks. So that's this video, just showing you guys my bullet journal. So thanks for watching, friends. I'll see you next time.